In the modern era of basketball, with the way social media is used as a tool to promote prospects from incredibly early ages, fans of the game have probably heard and know about a lot of the players that make it to the NBA years before they even get there. The use of hoop mixtapes that garner thousands and sometimes millions of views for top players at the high school level make these young guys stars in the basketball world before they've even accomplished anything. This puts a lot of pressure on these players to live up to lofty hype and expectations, and while some definitely do go on to have successful careers people expected from them at an early age, plenty more flame out and fold under the pressure. It can be a roller coaster going on this journey with plenty of ups and downs, and this brings us to the topic of today's video. Today we'll be discussing RJ Barrett of the New York Knicks and why a lot of people owe him an apology after the way he's been treated and labeled by the media, fans, and analysts alike to where he is now. Barrett is having an outstanding season this year in his second season, and it's time more people begin to take note. Before we start though, it turns out about 64% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Before we get into the general negativity surrounding the coverage of Barrett's career early on, I did want to discuss how it wasn't always this way, and it goes back to the roller coaster of ups and downs that prospects get hyped up at an early age experience. Barrett was born to a basketball family, as his father Rowan Barrett actually had a pretty long and successful career as a professional basketball player, playing in various professional leagues abroad. As a result, Barrett and his family would travel very regularly, as his father's career took him to different countries where he was playing, and young RJ would always play in the youth programs associated with those professional teams, giving him an early introduction to the competitive level of the sport. When his father retired, the family settled down in Ontario, Canada, where Barrett really started to get his basketball career going. He started playing high school basketball at a local school called Marcellinus, and right away, as a freshman, he was one of the best players in all of Canada at that level. He was playing in all-star games, winning awards, and putting on dominant performances, and as a result, he got noticed by some of the biggest American programs right off the bat. After taking a tour of a lot of the top high school programs in America after his freshman season, he chose to transfer to Montverde Academy, which has produced a ton of NBA players such as Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell, and more recently, projected #1 pick in this year's draft Cade Cunningham. Needless to say, his time at Montverde was highly successful, and by the time his high school career ended, he was the clear-cut #1 prospect in the class of 2018. All of ESPN, Rivals, and 24/7 Sports had RJ Barrett as the #1 recruit on their lists, so when he committed to Duke, it was very exciting. It was at Duke, however, where his time on top in the eyes of the fans and media ended, because he just so happened to have teamed up with one of the most viral sensations and promising NBA prospects that they've seen in years in Zion Williamson. Zion also came to Duke and completely stole the show. He became a national sensation because of the combination of his athletic prowess and overall dominance, and RJ's time as #1 clearly came to an end. Because of the fact that he was playing with everybody's favorite player, his individual play began to get even more scrutinized, and because of this, his flaws began to be even more overanalyzed than ever. When that season at Duke ended, obviously Zion was now seen as the prize at the top, but Barrett wasn't even #2 anymore. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with this, because Ja Morant is definitely one hell of a talent himself and has been playing great in Memphis, but when Barrett got drafted 3rd overall by the Knicks, the general consensus was that they missed out on the two players with actual star potential, and Barrett even started to get compared to Andrew Wiggins, with people calling him RJ Wiggins. No, this wasn't just general fan trash talk either. Actual NBA scouts working for organizations were making this comparison, which is incredibly disrespectful because Wiggins has become known for being someone who has put up empty numbers in the past. He struggles mightily on defense for most of his career, he's been a poor decision maker, and has been overall inefficient. Sure, Wiggins is having a solid year this year, but in general, and especially at the time RJ Barrett was drafted, he's been seen as someone who failed mightily to live up to the hype. Admittedly, Barrett's rookie season was pretty hit or miss. Last year, when he was still getting his footing with the level of competition, he wasn't the most efficient scorer, his decision-making and shot selection could be iffy at times, and the Knicks weren't very good. But you know who else this kind of stuff applies to? Literally almost every other rookie. It's so incredibly rare for rookie players to be genuinely impactful stars right immediately, and more often than not, rookies struggle. Now that we're in Barrett's second season, the impact he brings on the court is literally night and day from a year ago, and while Julius Randle gets a lot of the credit for the Knicks being playoff contenders this season so far, Barrett is also a huge reason why they are where they are right now, overachieving massively. On the season as a whole, Barrett is averaging about 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, while shooting a reliable 45% from the field and 39% from 3. Those are pretty good shooting splits for a guy labeled as inefficient and Andrew Wiggins-esque, with bad shot selection if I do say so myself. But most importantly, the area he's been blowing people away on is with his defense, where he has been nothing short of sensational. The Knicks are the third best defensive team in the NBA right now, and Barrett is their best perimeter defender. When the Knicks hired coach Tom Thibodeau, there was a bit of a mixed response to it, based on his previous track record. But if there's one thing that Thibodeau has always done well as a coach, it's been getting the absolute most of his players on defense, and he's worked wonders with RJ in that regard. Looking at some of the advanced numbers, you also see that when Barrett is on the floor, he ranks in the 93rd percentile in terms of the effective field goal percentage that their opponents are held to, putting him amongst the best in the league in that regard. Thibodeau has taken him under his wing and done a phenomenal job at getting the most out of him, and he's been vocal about how impressed he's been with RJ too by saying, his work ethic is top of the line, his attitude and approach are top of the line, he's a team-first guy, he's 20 years old, and he's only going to get better. Barrett has a big, strong body, he's quick, and he has terrific instincts. By no means is he perfect, and he does make mistakes every now and then, of course, but he's also 20 years old, and way better than most others are at his age. His two-way impact could legitimately be future All-Star caliber, and he's definitely on the right track. He's faced a lot of heat early in his career, but I think it's safe to say that a lot, or most, of his doubters are quiet right now, and they probably owe him an apology. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about RJ Barrett and his future in the NBA. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.